Lois Frankel here. I'm one of the members of Congress here in Palm Beach County. And we have lots of teachers and we have a parent. We have our two of our school board members are here, Edwin Ferguson and Virginia Saviano. We have one of our retired teachers here who you'll meet. Supervisor. You'll introduce yourself. You'll tell them what you do. Mark Jacoby and and we have a mom who you'll hear from too. Thank you everyone for being with us. Look, we're here today. Here we're in front of one of the best schools. Well, all our schools are the best schools, right, in the county. And because last week President Trump signed an executive order dismantling the Department of Education, and this is can be a very devastating blow to public schools all over the country, because it strips from our schools vital resources from the public schools and also financial assistance to the kids who are going to graduate from schools like this. So here in Palm Beach County, 96% of our children, that's about 190,000 children, attend our local public schools. And I think most of us here would agree that public schools are the backbone of our community because it gives an equal access to all our children for the opportunities they need to be successful later in their life. Gutting the Department of Education is going to cause an overflow in the classrooms. In other words, force teacher layoffs. It's going to increase class sizes, reduce support for students with disabilities, and also put college out of reach for many of our graduating seniors. So it's amazing the numbers. We have about 60,000 students in our two public colleges here, and more than half of them are on financial assistance. So it's going to come at these kids in lots of directions. And I'm going to bring up Mr. Ferguson, one of our school board members, to tell us some more.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank Congressman Lois Frankel for putting together this press conference today to discuss a very important issue, which is the potential deconstruction of the Department of Education. As she stated, I'm a school board member here in Palm Beach County since 2022. I represent an area of Palm Beach County that has a very diverse class of people. We have very rich people, people who are not so well off. And so I want to speak to two particular issues that I'm concerned about in regard to any modifications to the Department of Education. That is funding for Title I schools and also funding for ESE students. So what is Title I? Title I is money that we have allocated to the thousands of school districts throughout this nation for children who come from families of low income, who don't have all the resources that they need to be their optimum selves. And so I'm very concerned that if we don't tread lightly in any modifications to the Department of Education, we'll see substantial encumbrances created for the lives of these children that were not there before. And those can have very long reverberating effects moving into the future. And then secondly, ESE students. So those are students in general who have special needs. They could be autistic. Elon Musk is autistic. They could be children who suffer with Down syndrome or many other physical issues that currently the DOE sends millions of dollars to not just the Palm Beach County School District, but to all the other thousands of school districts here in the country to help make those children's educational experience optimal. So again, I won't be long here, but it's very important that the federal government tread extremely lightly before it makes any additional changes to the Department of Education, which, by the way, can really only be done by congressional act. So I appreciate that we have this executive order, but ultimately the decision of whether DOE exists or does not exist will fall to great congresspeople like Congressperson Frankel. So thank you for your time. Please stay engaged. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Virginia, do you want to say a few words? Come on. Introduce yourself again.
Good morning. Good morning. Buenos dias. I'm Virginia Saviano, school board member for District 2. I don't want to repeat what board member Ferguson said, but all of my schools are Title I schools. And I was an immigrant that came from Argentina when I was 13. And thankfully to all of the partnerships and the programs that we had, I was able to thrive. 30-something years later, here I am as an elected official. And our kids need it. We need the Department of Education, and stand behind it. Thank you, Congresswoman Lois Frankel, for having this conversation. And nuestra comunidad sí necesita el Departamento de Educación. Thank you. Good morning. Buenos días.
Thank you very much. We have a mom here with us, Victoria Ward. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. You took off your sunglasses.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, my daughter is 5 years old and she goes to a Palm Beach County public school. She has an IEP. She was diagnosed with ADHD and separation anxiety. And the school was able to give her mental health care as well as speech therapy and behavior therapy. Without the funding, they won't be able to give her those therapies anymore. I don't have a great detriment to her growing up and staying focused and staying on topic with her classmates. We really, really need this to stay put.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mark?
Hi, Mark Jacoby, retired New York City supervisor and formerly a special ed teacher. And the cuts that DOE are contemplating are detrimental to the most impoverished of our communities. Federal laws in 1970, all children should be educated in the least restrictive environment. It was renamed in 1990 Individuals with Disability Act, which the Department of Ed chairperson didn't even know what the acronym stood for. In any event, all the therapies, the supportive services for these children would not be available without the public funding, let alone class size, teacher layoffs. And from a personal experience, pre-1975, my sister, who was born with a disability, had to go to a different school because it was up to the building administrators to let her in and not make any provisions. It wasn't until 1975 that she was able to attend the same public high school that I attended. We don't want to go back. And these children, the Title I neighborhoods, the most impoverished and the most needy, are going to be left behind. And vouchers and private schools, those children will flourish, and our children will not. So dismantling the DOE is going to be a terrible detriment. I mean, federal funding is for everybody. What happens to the states with the people? We don't care. Well, we do care. If it's up to one state assemblyman or one governor that says, I don't believe in public education, then those schools will suffer. It's a federal issue, and we must stand together. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to sort of bring this full circle here, because I think it's very important to understand we are all in this together. These 190,000 children in our public schools, they're going to grow up in our community together, whether they're rich, poor, whatever color or language their parents speak. They're growing up together. And the reason that we've had public schools and to give equal access is to make sure every child has the opportunity to get educated and then participate fully as adults in our society. So this is not theoretical. The president has dismantled the Department of Education. It is up to the Congress, but he did it. And what is threatened right now is hundreds of millions of dollars of funding for Palm Beach County, both in terms of the programs you just heard about, as well as financial assistance for our college students. So I want to thank you all here. And people said, well, why is this being done? This is being done for tax cuts. They are reducing funding for tax cuts for very, very wealthy donors. That's what the billionaire donors. That's what this is about. And I want to thank you all for being here. Everybody needs to push back. Any questions? Oh, well, we're going to ask the reporters.
He's already issued a series of executive
Yes,
orders,
yeah.
And normally it would be up to Congress to
Yes.
dismantle a congressionally approved agency of the U.S. government. But is it your opinion that he's already violated the Constitution and essentially hollowing out? If you remove half the staffing and given its duties to another agency, has he not already destroyed the Department of Education?
Well, the answer is whether it's a constitutional issue, I will tell you this: it's illegal what he did to unilaterally dismantle Department of Education. But it has been done. The employees that are necessary to run it are not there, and actually, what's which is just as bad as the funding is not going to be there. And that's how we're going to really feel it here without the funding. Some money's going to go back to states, as you said, but you look at the state of Florida, that money will most likely go to private school vouchers. That's probably what will happen in this state.
Is it your concern? Have you had any feedback from anyone in Tallahassee about plans to augment the state government in a way so that some of the duties that the federal government undertook will be undertaken in Tallahassee? Do you have any sense of whether or not the money that the U.S. Department of Education would route through Tallahassee to local school districts, is that money going to be coming via block grant, or is it just going to be cut off? Or do you know?
Well, I haven't talked to anyone. I mean, history is our lesson, what's happened here in the state of Florida. First of all, I can tell you this. We're not going to get the amount of funding that we're getting now, which is about $320 million. This is one of the largest school districts in the country. 190,000 children is a lot of children to take care of. But we know just by the actions of the state legislature, their move has been to defund public schools and shift money to private school vouchers. Incidentally, just so that you know, in this county, most children go to the public schools. Maybe 13% of our kids actually even go to a private school. So it is really cheating our kids for billionaire donors to take that money and send it away. Anybody else? Yeah. Well, we do have local control, and the state really is in charge of most of the funding. The school board, which incidentally does a very great job. We're very, very lucky here, or blessed, I should say, in Palm Beach County. There is local control, but what we have found over the years that if you look at the country as a whole, and in so many areas of this country, they don't have resources like we have. They don't have great school boards like we have. Especially in a lot of the rural areas. And so there's always been a thought that a certain amount of resource and direction must come from the federal government. And that includes making sure that under-resourced children get full education, that children who have disabilities with their learning, that they get a full education. And this county has used the money very creatively also for mental health treatment, things like that. Anybody else? Pardon me? Okay, all right. Well, okay. In terms of the Congress, Democrats will be fighting this when the budget comes up. There will be a bill to dismantle, to do legally what the president's done illegally. I think it will have a very hard time passing that because I believe the Democrats, especially in the Senate where they need 60 votes, will not go along with that. But really the pushback has to come from the parents and the people. That's why you see some folks here today and people who are listening here. Look, if you like it or you don't like it, let your lawmakers know.
Have you all given any thought to seeking an injunction through the courts? Given that if it's your view that the president usurped your authority, the power of the purse, why not go to the courts and seek relief?
Well, the legislature, I wish we could sue, but the Congress is not allowed to sue the federal government. However, there will be, I expect there are lawsuits that will be underway. Anybody else?
Question on a different topic.
Yes.
Been asked to ask a comment about the new federal bill about Trump's security reimbursement.
Okay. All right. Well, this is something that is very bipartisan, I'm happy to say, which is our county, by the end of this year, will have between the police and the fire department in the county, the Palm Beach County, West Palm Beach, we will have spent almost $45 million protecting the president. I know all our law enforcement are proud to do that. They are very able to work with the Secret Service. But the fact of the matter is, this should be shared by the taxpayers of the country, not by just the taxpayers here, because it is a big, $45 million is a big diversion of our funding. And so myself and Tom Keene, who is a a member of in New Jersey where the president spends his summer. We have filed a bill and we will be seeking appropriations to get that $45 million here back to the county and going forward to make sure that we're reimbursed. Because really, this is the funding should be the responsibility of the federal government. That you wanted to ask that same thing.
Yeah, I have a different question. Are
Yeah.
you concerned that since the Department of Education was established more than 50 years ago, the U.S. student achievement has dropped and spending per student has increased?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you have any concerns since the Department of Education was established more than 50 years ago? U.S. achievement per student achievement has dropped, but the spending per student has increased.
Well, you know, that is, here's what's wrong with that, just using that analysis. All these people who are teachers will tell you the factors that go into learning are so complicated. How about funding for Head Start? How about funding for good childcare? How about funding for nutrition? There are so many things that go into getting the child ready to perform well. That's what we should be looking at, not just some test scores. Got to figure out what has caused that. Because not really, but for the Department of Education, you would have seen literally millions of children left behind in this country. No question about it. You're welcome. Anybody else? All right, we did. Okay, well, I'll answer your question separately. Okay. All right.